So I wanted to do a quick update about the MRCGP RCA and the new exam that's going to replace it. So for those of you that are in ST3 at the moment, there are 2 final sittings of the RCA available for new candidates and those that are resitting. And there's going to be 1 last sitting only open to those that are resitting. So the 2 that are available to anyone that's in ST3, whether you're sitting it for the first time or you're resitting, are the March and the April sittings. Both of them are restricted to 1,250 candidates for each time. So that's actually slightly less than sat the April sitting last year, but it's more than sat the March sitting last year. So, if you can sit it in March and you're going to have your submission ready, get it in by then. If not, April is the last chance for people that are having a go for the first time. There will be 1 last sitting of the RCA in the autumn. The exact date hasn't been confirmed, but it's likely to be September or October. But that will only be open to candidates who are resitting the RCA. And that's because the new exam that's going to replace the RCA, which remember was only ever meant to be a temporary replacement to the clinical skills assessment, the CSA, because of the COVID pandemic, has been submitted to the GMC by the RCGP. And so they're just waiting final approval. So let me share what the new format is. Of course, the GMC may not approve the current format. They may ask for some tweaks, but it's likely that it will get approval. So what's been submitted, that the new exam will have some similarities with the CSA in that it will use simulated consultations. So no real patients, no recording actual consultations, no recordings at all actually. It's going to be called the SCA, the Simulated Consultation Assessment. And so you will do this in your surgery. So wherever you are, you won't have to travel down to London to the RCGP headquarters, but it will use simulated patients. So this will allow standardization. It will also allow the RCGP to set the complexity and the level of challenge. And you're going to do 12 consultations. You'll have 12 minutes for each one, with 3 minutes reading time to look at the notes on screen before you interact with the patient. Now everything's remote, so some will be remote including audio and video, and some will be, you'll just hear the audio, i.e. remote telephone consultations. So to recap, there will be 12 consultations, 12 minutes each. You'll have 3 minutes reading time before the 12 minutes of actual consultation time. In terms of what's going to be marked, the domains are going to stay the same. You're still going to be assessed on your data gathering, your management and diagnostic skills, and your communication and interpersonal skills. So what we will expect to see when the final format is released are things like, will there be 1 examiner marking each case, like the old CSA? Will there be 2 examiners marking each case, like the RCA? What will be the exact proportion of marks for each domain? Because there was talk about maybe changing the proportion. Previously, data gathering, management, interpersonal were 1/3 each. There was some talk about maybe changing the proportions, but again, that hasn't been finalized. So all of those will be released 6 months before the new exam launches, and it's due to launch autumn, winter 2023. So for example, let's say it launches, October or November. By about April, May, we should know the final details once the GMC has given its approval or fed back any comments. So just to recap, if you're planning to submit RCA for the first time, your last chance is either March or April sitting. If you are resitting, you may be able to sit, there'll probably be a limited number of slots in autumn 2023. Nobody will be able to submit to RCA for the first time after April 2023. That will be the last sitting for new candidates. And then the new exam is due to launch autumn, winter, the simulated consultation assessment. You'll do it remotely from your surgery. It will be entirely remote and a mixture of consultations including audio and video, and some that will be just you listening to the patient. The examiner will hear you and the patient. Okay, 12 cases, 12 minutes each, plus 3 minutes reading time before each case. So I hope that's helpful. In terms of preparation, I've had quite a few doctors contact me who are in ST2 at the moment, and they're just wanting to make a start. They've done their AKT, they want to make a start early on preparation for the new exam, but don't know what to use. So what you will find helpful is our GP 100 case crammer recording. So this is the recording of our 100 case crammer course where we discussed 100 GP cases and how to approach them. And we looked at for each one the data gathering, what are the key questions to ask, what are the important red flags not to miss, things to think about in terms of examination, what are the current guidelines for management, what are the clinchers that are going to help you make the diagnosis right, and then interpersonal skills, how to explain things clearly, concisely, in language that's understandable for patients, specific interpersonal skills to think about, like breaking bad news, like dealing with someone who's angry about something, like dealing with embarrassing topics, okay, things like that. And of the 100 cases, 20 are interactive with simulators. So you'll see the audience engaging and you'll be able to think about what kind of questions you want to ask. You'll see some of the questions being asked and then the simulator answering them. So you can see this will help you consolidate knowledge for 100 GP cases, both common GP conditions but also rare but serious things, some more complex things that tend to come up in exams. Okay, so you can consolidate knowledge and skills even before the final details are ready. And once the final details are ready, we will launch a specific course tailored to the SCA that will run in parallel to this. So this will complement that. So, it's going to help you get up to date, but it's also going to help you just if you're about to go into ST3 and want to get yourself familiar and confident in how to approach different GP scenarios. So I hope that's been helpful. Any questions about the new exam or about the final sittings of RCA, ask me in the comments below and I'll try to address them. Like anything in life, prepare and you will succeed.